Several years ago, there was something in Newsday about a fine, upstanding young gentleman from Queens whose father passed away at like North Shore Hospital or Long Island Jewish, and he left the body in the Nassau County morgue for a year, collecting the Social Security payment. Somehow he was found out, and now he doesn't have a care in the world. He knows where he's sleeping every night. He doesn't have to worry about designer clothes. And he gets 3 supposedly nutritious meals a day. There was another case of a state retiree in Florida where a dependent kept the person alive for about 6 years, just by answering everything that came in the mail. That's why when you get to about 85, which is a long way away for all of us, thankfully, TRS will send you a letter. Are you still here? And if you do not say, yes, Doug Hathaway is still here, they will cut off your pension. Because they figured that you've passed away and nobody told them. So now you got to show, I'm not dead yet. It's almost as bad as being listed on the Social Security death database, right? To go and say, hey, Social Security, I'm really still alive. I make light of it, but it could be a variety of reasons. You could be in a rehab center for an extended period of time, and the check you have a paper check and it comes back. A couple of months in a row, they figure you're dead. So now you have no health benefits because you're not getting a pension. So we had one of those, and it took a while to get that straightened out. So you got to let the people know when it's time. And probably more important, you call the welfare fund, you call the retiree chapter, we talk back and forth, because we will do a variety of things to help the survivor with the paperwork, get on COBRA if needed, interface with TRS and give them a little nudger when they need it, and our numbers are there. We'll talk later, but one of the things that the welfare fund provides for a survivor is our welfare benefits free of charge for 5 years. So we want to make sure we get that going. The rest of this is information about you. Tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. What was your date of birth? The real one. Not to be sexist, but ladies, it's the real date of birth, not the one you've been telling your husband for all these years. Right? Where were you born? Where is the birth certificate? Social Security number, work site, pension number, pension option, spouse's health plan. Where's the original copy of your will? Who's the attorney you've been dealing with? Who's your accountant who has the tax papers? If you are a war veteran, then there could be a military presence at your services. Other organizations that may have a death benefit, college alumni associations, credit unions, banks, whatever. It's like every week I find out there's a new credit union in my area offering me $10,000 worth of life insurance and offering if I become a member, and then I buy another $50,000. So that goes in the shredder. Assets. Where's the money? Be honest. No more, which cookie jar, which mattress, which offshore bank account. You ever watch the show Storage Wars? Yes. There was one several years ago, I forget who the two guys were. It was the team of 2 guys. And they buy a locker, and they go and throw in this junk, and they're getting more and more angry. And then all the way in the back is a picture. And it's like something stupid, like Velvet Elvis or dogs playing pool or something. But the frame's kind of nice. So they go and they say, okay, I don't care about the picture, but the frame we can get $10 for in the store. So they go and they tear the paper off the back of the picture, and tape to the back of the picture were 19 $100 bills. So somebody was hiding money from somebody. It ended up in the storage locker, and it ended up in these guys' pocket instead of where it probably should have been, which is a family member. So just, let people know. Don't do, and if it's an account, give them the full account and all. One of the things my uncle did, he went through my grandmother's recipes when she passed away. And this was up in Maine, and all of the church ladies, they had their special recipe. And they were like, oh, I love your gingerbread, I love whatever. And he found some of these recipes. And he realized that, yeah, I'll give you my recipe for gingerbread, but I won't tell you how much ginger to put in it. So be honest with it. That's how they, but it doesn't come out like yours, Ivy. Well, I wonder why. So you let everybody know where the assets are, insurance, contacts, anybody that needs to know, anybody else, any other places you want to have money. Use this as a start, add to it as you will. This is not definitive. I keep saying when I have a free moment, I'm going to add something on there. Where are the passwords? Right? Every bank account, every social media, every insurance company, you all have got all the passwords. My wife says, I want a list of all the websites and all the passwords. I say, fine. I'll put it in the spreadsheet. And she goes, you know I don't do spreadsheets. Put it on a piece of paper and put it in the box. So now, a little story. My mother retired up in Maine where I grew up, Latin English teacher. And grew up after my father passed away. And she was fortunate and thankfully, or whatever, she was born in February. Yeah, which, when you go to Maine in February, there's not a whole lot to do. You sit and you watch the snow and ice melt for an hour, and it's like, okay, I'm bored with that, let's find something good to do. So my brother and I were there in February, so we were in the living room watching a golf tournament. And it's like, you're watching from Pebble Beach or somewhere in California. The fans are in shorts and t-shirts, and we're huddled up there in the living room because they don't want to burn too much oil. And she comes into the living room with a piece of loose leaf notebook paper, handwritten, half full. Headline on the form, what to do with my stuff. And the first thing was a ring that was her mother's. That was to go to my cousin Caroline in Houston because that was the heirloom thing. And I said, Mom, this is great. And I've told you how frustrating it is when I deal with a new survivor and they don't have a place to start. But you've got to do me a favor. She goes, okay, what? Tell me where you're going to put the list. I don't know about you, but I have two types of important papers. I have the ones I can find and the ones I can't. And every year when I get the statement from the timeshare company, if this is what I got to pay, I look, I can't find the folder. I go, I make a new one, and when I go put it where it should be, that's where I find last year's. So she said, looked at me like I had 6 heads and said, in the blue metal box, of course. Well, it's like, of course. Where else would it be? Growing up, my father had one of those blue metal file boxes with a combination, right? He left the combination at 000 so he wouldn't forget it. And that's where all the important papers went. That's where the life insurance policies, that's where the car insurance, that's where the homeowners. Remember passbook savings accounts? You took the thing in, that's where the passbook was for the passbook savings accounts. That's where he kept his private stash of chocolate bars. That he didn't know, my brother and I knew that's where he kept his private stash of chocolate bars. So he'd come and say, what happened to my chocolate? We'd say, what chocolate? Go buy more. So that's where it was. So we fast forward, I'm getting my oldest daughter ready for college, her first grandchild. And she's been in the hospital for a month, didn't make it. I get a call on Saturday before I'm supposed to get Chelsea to school. And my brother says, Doug, Mom didn't make it. Yeah, okay. So we say, yeah, do we rush to Maine on Sunday, do something Monday, come back Tuesday, get Chelsea to school on Wednesday, or do we get Chelsea to school on Wednesday, then go to Maine and take whatever time? We agreed we'd wait till to get her to school and forward. So, as it turns out, it wasn't half a page anymore. That was 4 pages double-sided. And it included things such as a order of worship for her memorial service. with and without a choir. So why with and without a choir? Remember where she is. She's on the coast of Maine. When do most people want to go to the coast of Maine? May to October. When do the people who live there year-round make enough money to live there year-round? May to October. What happens if the church ladies in the choir can't get off from work to sing in the choir? So it was with and without a choir. As it turns out, we did have the church ladies. I still don't know after 10 years whether it was good or bad. But we did have the church ladies. We also had a new pastor who maybe had met my mother twice. So she had no idea who she was or what she would like. So it helped her. She expanded it. She had what she wanted from the funeral director. We had one funeral parlor. It's not like here where there's one in every corner. Banks, pizza shops, funeral parlors, gas stations in New York. Up there, one funeral parlor for the whole area. And so my brother had what she wanted, walked in, took care of that. There were instructions to go to the family cemetery 3 hours away for the grave. So everything was there. All he had to do was go to, this is what she wants, this is what she wants, whatever. We did it. And then between the service and the burial, there were a few days. So also in the list were all the places she had money. She had an annuity, she had Aflac, she had life insurance. We're the contact person. So the day after the service, we start calling these people. The next day, somebody's at the house with the paperwork. So while we're there, we do all of this. And it just made it so much easier on us and on my brother, who had the bulk of having to deal with this, by having everything planned out. And it really helps. You can buy something like this online for 20 bucks if you like color. The attorney who I went to school with, who handled her estate, has an elder care newsletter he sends out. And 4 or 5 years ago, there was something there about that. And it was full color glossy, yeah, fine, but this has got the same stuff. It's also on our website. If you write something wrong or you want to give it to someone, feel free. It's under the foreman's booklets, brochures on the left, all funds, survivor packet. Print them off, use them, please. So, we're cleaning up my mother's house.